morning, kindergarten. It's Monday and it's a brand new week of remote learning. I wanted to choose a fun theme for us this week. I thought maybe it would be cool if we could spend some time in books and doing some fun activities that remind us of Easter, because this is our last week together before we celebrate Easter. And next week, again, is our spring break. So I thought I would bring an Easter basket to start us off on Monday morning. Look at my Easter basket. It's empty. That's not the best kind of Easter basket, is it? Today in our story that I'm going to read to you, our two main characters are trying to fill an Easter basket. I want you to pay attention as I read this story today, because in this story, I'm reminded of our Leader in Me habit for the month. Remember it? Maybe you've forgotten it by now. Let me remind you. Leader in Me habit number 6 is synergize. I know that's a really big word, but when we synergize, we work together to get a big job done. So pay attention today, because I'm going to be reading you a story about these two main characters who are going to synergize in our story. I've also added some links and fun songs to look at below this video that can remind you how important it is for us to work together when we get a big job done. So let me go ahead and start my reading. Today, the title of our story is The Biggest Easter Basket Ever. The week before Easter, moms and dads in Mouseville were spring cleaning and baking cookies when the mayor made his announcement. We will have a gala Easter celebration on the village green. We will have an egg rolling contest and an Easter egg hunt. Everyone cheered, yippee! And whoever brings the biggest Easter basket will win a prize, the mayor added. Ooh. Wow, said Penelope. I'm going to make mine out of bark. Well, I'm going to make mine out of cattails, said James. Everyone in Mouseville loves cattails. I'm going to make the biggest Easter basket ever, said Clayton, the house mouse. I knew you would say that, said his friend Desmond, the field mouse. But I'm the one who's going to make the biggest Easter basket ever. Oh, really? Said Clayton. Yes, really, said Desmond. Kindergarten, do you remember these two main characters? We've read stories about them before. They always want to compete, don't they? They're always trying to do something bigger or better than the other. That night, Penelope and James did some serious thinking, and out in the country, Clayton and Desmond did the same. It was Easter vacation, so they had no homework. The next morning, Clayton raced to the basement. Behind the old Christmas wreath and the broken skis, he found what he wanted. The big straw Easter basket his parents had made when he was just a baby mouse. He pulled the basket free, pushed it up the stairs, and placed it right into the middle of the living room. Over at Desmond's, there was no basket, but he and his brother Morris were making one out of twigs. By the end of the day, the big Easter basket sat in the middle of their living room. That's the biggest Easter basket I ever saw, said Desmond. Sure looks like it to me, said Morris. That evening, when Clayton's family came in for dinner, Dad said, Son, that's our old Easter basket. What's it doing in the middle of the living room? It's going to be the biggest Easter basket ever, said Desmond. Said Clayton. But what will it have inside? Dad asked. That's important too. Well, I hadn't thought about that, Clayton said. The same thing was happening at Desmond's house. When Uncle Vernon came in for dinner, his very first words were, Desmond, what's that big basket doing in the middle of the living room? Desmond smiled. It's going to be the biggest Easter basket ever, said Desmond, and going to win the town contest. But what will it have inside? Asked Vernon. That's important too. I hadn't thought about that, Desmond said. Over at Clayton's house, Dad took Clayton aside. To help you find wonderful things to fill the basket, he whispered. Ask the whole family. And over at Desmond's, Uncle Vernon did the same. To help you find wonderful things to fill the basket, ask the whole family. So Clayton did, and Desmond did. And this is what happened. At Clayton's house, Mom contributed. Do you know what that word means? Contributed means to give. Mom gave a fuzzy stuffed Easter bunny. Dad added a big bag of jelly beans and piles of plastic grass. That's what I have in my Easter basket. Brother Andy and Sister Trudy appeared with a chocolate bunny, chocolate foil eggs, and a little stuffed duck that made a loud quacking noise. Carefully, Clayton arranged everything in his basket. At Desmond's house, Uncle Vernon contributed his own bags of jelly beans and plastic grass. Morris added 2 marshmallow bunnies, a dancing chick with a silly grin, and a big meringue egg with a mouse family inside. Cousins from across the road sent over a dozen candle eggs. Carefully, Desmond arranged everything in his basket. The next morning, Clayton rushed into town to check out the competition. Both Penelope and James had made baskets the same size as his. Clayton knew he would have to make something bigger and better. Well, that afternoon, Desmond realized the same thing. Each was certain that he had to have something extra special. Colored Easter eggs, declared Clayton. Colored Easter eggs, declared Desmond. They both ran off to the market to buy the eggs and the food coloring. Have you ever colored Easter eggs before? It's pretty fun, isn't it? Maybe you could do that sometime this week or next. Clayton bought 5 cartons of large eggs and blue, green, and purple dyes. Desmond bought 5 cartons of large eggs and red, orange, and pink dyes. Each staggered out the door with a huge pile of boxes. They bumped into each other and fell down. Oh, broken eggs landed everywhere. Clayton wiped off one of his hands and laughed, and Desmond wiped off his head and laughed. We should make this Easter basket together, said Clayton. No one said we couldn't, said Desmond. The next day, they asked their families to be partners. Soon everyone was gathering more Easter treats. Kindergarten, do you see them synergizing? They aren't just working together, they got their families to help. When more people gather together to get a big job done, happens faster, happens easier, sometimes we get better ideas. Let's see what happens in the end. Clayton organized the sorting and the egg coloring. Desmond and Morris made a twig basket twice the size of the original. In no time, they had the biggest Easter basket ever. And on Easter morning, with the egg rolling contest already underway, they carried it to the town square. Look at that thing. Oh! Immediately, the mayor awarded both families the prize, a giant cheese bunny. Everyone danced around, munching and high-fiving, and then they shared the basket with the whole town. "We did it," said Clayton and Desmond, handing out chocolate foil eggs. "All of us together." What a great story about synergy. I am so excited that you got to hear that. Today, I hope you're able to click the links below. I hope you're able to find a project or an activity to do with a family member. You know, you're not just learning when you're at school. You're also learning when you do things like this, when you practice synergy with others. So, happy Monday, kindergarten. I hope you have a great day. Bye.